30 years for their WDBO listeners. If you have a financial question you want answered by real fiduciaries,
Good morning and welcome to On the Money right here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO. Your chance to hop on the airwaves, hop inside the experience, the decades of experience, and ask any questions you may have for the Certified Financial Group. If you've got a question, we got a phone number available for you. Get to that in just 1 second. We got two certified financial planners. We got Grant Kennedy, and Aaron Bert here taking your calls, guiding us through another great hour on the airwaves. If you want to call in, 844-580-9326. If you want to send in your audio, your question using our open mic feature inside the WDBO app, you can do so. Grant, Aaron, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
It is hot outside here
go.
in Central Florida, isn't it? It's just baking out there, and hopefully people are in their car either listening to their radio or sitting around having a cup of coffee, got us tuned in, either watching us on the live stream or through the WDBO app, or maybe they got their old AM radio tuned to 580. But Grant and I are here to talk to people in the Central Florida area about their personal financial situation. We've been on the radio now for, it's been nearly 40, not me for 40 years, but our company's been on the radio for nearly 40 years, answering questions having anything to do with people's personal financial lives. We take questions on, retirement planning, Social Security, Medicare, long-term care, annuities, and mutual funds, stocks, bonds, real estate, all that and more. Taxes, we dive into a lot of times here on this show. And really, we're just here to provide education to the general public, let you know about us. We can hopefully answer your question, provide some complimentary advice. And if at some point in the future, you have an itch, you have a need, maybe you'll contact our company or maybe come to one of our free workshops and learn more about us and use us in the future. So Grant and I and the other, I don't know how many we're up to now, 15 certified financial planner professionals, like I said, do this Monday through Friday for a fee. But on Saturday morning, we're providing information to you absolutely free, and it looks like we're lighting the phones up right out the gate. So we could jump right to the caller.
Let me go ahead and grab them real fast as we introduce this topic.
Yep,
and then I can. But if you want to join the conversation, we got some open lines for you at 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. Again, the open mic available for you if you want to send in your question. Today's topic for Grant Kennedy and Aaron Bert: how to build generational wealth.
Yes. Go ahead. I was just going to say this is a continuation of previous topics that Grant and I have been on when we've been on the radio talking about building generational wealth. And we started with some of the other generations, and Grant wanted to touch on the couple that we never got to. So I'm going to let him take it away.
Yes, this is part 3 of our 3-part series on generational wealth, covering the baby boomers and silent generation. So that's anyone age 62 and up. These people have worked hard, saved consistently, contributed to their retirement accounts, did a lot of the things that we, make sure our clients do to build a good, solid nest egg. But now that conversation transitions to how do we protect what we have, withdraw from it effectively, make sure that we minimize how much is going into other entities and people's hands other than us and our family, and ultimately, how do we maximize a legacy? And I see we're getting in some calls.
Yeah, let's jump to the calls if we can, Josh, because we got plenty of time for the topics, and I know they're sitting there listening to us and waiting for us to get to them. So we'll jump to Dan right out the gate.
Dan, you're live on the radio. Go ahead with the Certified Financial Group.
Good morning. I am about 5 years from retirement, and I'm wondering what are the most important things I could be doing right now to plan.
Are you there? Dan, you still there? Did we lose Dan?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, I hear you.
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry. Hi, I am about 5 years from retirement, and I'm trying to figure out what are the most important things I should be doing now
Sure.
to plan for retirement in 5 years.
Sure. Have you done any planning at all? Have you spoken with anybody?
I've been stocking money away for 40 years in my 401k through my employer.
Sure.
Taking advantage of the matching program there, and trying to diversify as much as I can. But other than that, I'm not trying to play the market or anything. So
Sure.
just watching it grow and trying to figure out as I get closer what things I need to do to worry about in terms of taxes and beyond.
If I had a tee and just set the ball right on the tee, this couldn't have been a more perfect question to tee up this show with. So, and actually, Dan, you are like, I would say 90%, if not more, of the people that walk into our office. They've been kind of, doing it on their own all these years. They've been plugging money into the retirement plan and hoping that at some point it's going to kind of all come together when eventually those paychecks stop. And you are what we would call a perfect planning opportunity for us, because basically what we can do for you, or what you should be doing, whether you work with us or any other certified financial planner professional, is really just going through and getting a checkup and making sure that the numbers that you have in place are going to work. When you do that, they ought to be talking about tax minimization strategies now and into the future. Are there opportunities possibly for what you should be doing about Social Security and ways of minimizing taxes on that? Should you be looking at Roth conversions? Do we even have enough capital collected so that when those paychecks stop, we can continue to pay all of our bills? Do you have enough growth in your portfolio? Are there ways to minimize debt and all those things? Basically, the answer is you ought to be going in and doing a financial plan and talking to somebody and making sure that all these boxes are checked. Because the worst cases that we see are the people that have already retired and they've done what we call back of the envelope planning. They say, well, we got this much coming in, we're going to be pulling this much out, and they think it's going to kind of work. And then, they're 2 or 3 or 4 years into retirement and the wheels start falling off. And then they come to see us, and then you got to make some serious decisions, whether it's, downsizing your home or going back to work or doing something like that. But you're in that sweet spot. You really ought to come in and have an analysis done by one of our certified financial planner professionals. Just make sure everything's looking good. It'll give you peace of mind. You'll sleep better at night, and you'll know exactly what you need to do over the next 5 years to make sure that you're in the right position so that when those paychecks eventually stop, that you're properly positioned to head off into retirement with a lot of confidence.
Do you guys happen to have offices in the Oviedo area, or is Orlando the closest?
No, we're actually in Altamont Springs, not too far from you. We're right off of 434 and I-4. You can go to our website, financialgroup.com, or you can give us a call on Monday. 407-869-9800 is our phone number. But you can go to our website, learn all about us, and speak to our Gemma, who is our client coordinator, and she'll be able to get you set up with an appointment if you're interested in coming in and speaking to somebody. Doesn't cost anything to come in. Our initial consultations are complimentary. So if you want to come in and just get a feel for us and in our offices and the planner that you'd be working with, we'd love to meet you in our offices. So, but you're right in that sweet spot, and I really appreciate the question right out the gate, Dan. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. If you want to call in, you got a question, maybe you want to see if the Certified Financial Group is right for you, call in right now, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. Now we're going to Peter in Orlando. Peter, you're live with the Certified Financial Group.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah, hi. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, you may have answered this, but I wasn't listening too well. But I just started SS. Question: I'm retired.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, do we pay taxes on SS income? I think the answer is yes, probably. And number two, how do you determine how much tax you need to take out? Should you take it out before they cut the check, or you maybe wait at the end of the year, give it to your accountant, and he determines how much tax you owe? Thank you very much.
Great question. Grant, you want to go through the tax options on Social Security?
Yeah, I'll say that Social Security taxes are more about what's your entire tax picture look like, and that's something that we on the air right now probably shouldn't get too far into, but the actual what's taxed of Social Security is based off your total income and how much of it is over a threshold where is it 0% tax, 50% tax, or 85% of your Social Security being taxed is the big driver to how much should be withheld from it. And that depends on how much you're withdrawing from 401ks or IRAs, how much do you have coming in from maybe a pension or annuities or other sources of income. But withholding up front, if you do owe taxes, will save you a big headache come tax time in April of next year and the following years, just to make sure that you're not cutting a big check at that point.
Yeah, our system, as you know, or maybe you don't know, is a pay-as-you-go system. So if you don't pay as you're earning the money, you will have taxes obviously come April 15th, and then possibly a late payment penalty. You can pay estimated taxes on Social Security, or there is a form that you can submit to have it automatically withheld. But really, that's a tax question of what other income you have coming in, and then how much of your Social Security is going to be ultimately subject to taxation. So it's an overall, big tax picture to see what that is. And, you got these new deductions that came in, the senior deduction that with the current tax bill that came in. So once you start hitting certain levels of incomes, things, those new deductions start to phase out, Social Security taxes start to go up. So there's a lot of different pieces and parts that are playing in it here. We do provide some analysis. If you're interested in calling our office, we can talk to you about, how much you're getting in Social Security, what other sources of income you have, make recommendations on what you ought to be withholding, provide an analysis if, maybe there's something different that you ought to be doing. So this is something that we do for our clients day in and day out. So Peter, if you're interested, feel free to give our office a call. We can run that analysis for you and give you a recommendation on, withholding amounts and how, if you ought to be doing anything differently. So great question.
Okay,
again. We really
thank you very
appreciate
much.
it, Peter.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Again, thank you so much, Aaron Bert, Grant Kennedy, giving some good information to Peter. And whoever wants to call in after this break, during this break, you can talk to me, but I know you want to talk to the real people of the show, of course, the Certified Financial Planners. Pick up the phone right now, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow,
Today,
with the Certified Financial Group.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40. CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC out of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
could be because we're independent.
But we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in, you say, "Hey Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like?" And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal? Ooh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak. Just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit. It's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol's getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover. Welcome back to On the Money right here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. My name is Josh McCarthy, riding these airwaves with Aaron Bert and Grant Kennedy, two certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group. If you've got a question for these experts, you want the assistance of Certified Financial Group to get you to and through retirement, I invite you to call in right now. Join the conversation. 844-580-9326. 844-580-WDBO. Also, always welcome to send in your question using the open mic feature inside your very own WDBO app. Grant, Aaron, the topic of today's show is how to build generational wealth.
Yeah, before we jump to that, Josh, I just wanted to point out a couple different things too, and then we'll let Grant take us into the break. Just that we have Charles Curry, also certified financial planner, taking questions off the air. So I know we got a couple questions right out the gate that were wonderful. But if you have any questions that you don't want, on the air, talking about your personal situation, Charles Curry is taking calls at our office number 407 407-869-9800. Again, 407-869-9800. If he does not answer, please leave a message. That means he's on the phone with somebody else. He'll give you a call right back and make sure he talks to you today. So we'll jump right back to the topic, building generational wealth, baby boomers and silent generation. Grant Kennedy, take it away.
Those two calls were perfect, but it's really goes to show that once you enter your retirement years or start thinking about retirement, there are a lot of decisions to make, and a lot of them are irreversible. So I'm going to go through a few things with Aaron here that he's going to stop me when there's a planning decision to be made. So just giving an example, take someone at age 60, has worked at the same job for their whole life and has a 401k. They're looking to retire this year and possibly roll that over to an IRA, but they have a lot of highly appreciated employer stock within their 401k.
So the question there is, now that you have this stock in your plan, what can you do with it? And the option is to pull that stock out. So there is a planning opportunity. It's slipping with net unrealized appreciation, NUA. I had NUA in my head and I was trying to remember what it stood for. NUA is the ability to remove stock from a retirement plan, employer stock from a retirement plan at basis, which basically means that you have, I'm going to throw an example in there. Let's say you worked for Apple since the 80s, right? And you have employer stock in your plan that you paid, $1,000 for. Okay. Now it's worth $1 million. Okay. It's in your 401k plan. So rather than sell it within your 401k plan, you can do NUA, which allows you to pull that stock out at basis, pay taxes on the basis. Am I saying this correctly, yes. Grant? Grant's shaking his head, yes. And then you can transfer it into a brokerage account. Now it maintains that basis, so you still have the basis there of $1,000 with the $1 million gain. But now if you then turn around and sell it after a year, it is taxed at long-term capital gains rates instead of as ordinary income. So it's a great way to remove assets from a 401k if you have employer stock with a very low cost basis. Did I say all that correctly?
That was perfect.
I wasn't planning on that, but okay, good.
So if you're entering retirement years and maybe that resonates with you, this is something we see and help our clients with often is sometimes it feels like a no-brainer. Oh, I left my employer. I need to roll this 401k over to an IRA so I can manage it myself. But if you miss that opportunity, there's no going back. That could be the difference between paying 15% or 20% capital gains on the long-term gain portion of that stock and paying ordinary income on it. So that's where coming to our offices, speaking with a certified financial planner can definitely save you quite a bit of money. Another example here, if we have the time, take someone who recently retired, is turning 62 and are eligible for Social Security for the very first time. They live within their means. They don't really need it, but it's available to them. Should they take it?
Yeah, so this is the ultimate question about Social Security timing strategies. When should you file? When should you not file? And this is a great thing to pick up after the break. So we will get to that question after the break.
Thank you so much. If you want to delay them getting to that question with a question of your own, by all means, call in 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. As Aaron mentioned at the top of this segment, we do have Charles Curry taking your calls off the air. If it's a little bit personal, a little bit specific, or you want to just jump right into the office there, Charles Curry, another CFP, available to you at 407-869-9800. You're more than welcome to call in and join On the Money. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow.
Today.
With the Certified Financial Group.
That if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker, says, you know, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC out of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent.
But we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in,
most listened to financial call-in show, brought to you by Certified Financial Group in Altamont Springs. It's the only show hosted exclusively by Certified Financial Planner.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. My name's Josh McCarthy, sitting here with these two experts, Grant Kennedy and Aaron Bert with the Certified Financial Group. And if you want to call in, we got some open lines available to you. 844-580-9326 is that number to call, 844-580 WDBO. Also got Charles Curry taking calls off the air. If you want to get right down to your specific number, say, hey, I got $10 in my 401k. What's the best way to manage that? Or, hey, I got $10 billion in my 401k. What's the best way to manage that? Charles Curry taking your calls live off the air at 407-869-9800. Grant, Aaron, how we doing so far?
So far, so good, Josh. Halfway through the show here, we've had some great questions talking about retirement. We had someone 5 years away. What should he do? And that was a great first question to tee up the show. And then we had another one regarding Social Security, and we're going to jump into the Social Security decision points here in a second. But before we do, I do want to mention that we run seminars or workshops here on a regular basis in our office. The next ones that are coming up are actually August 15th. We're going to be talking about tax-efficient investing and distribution strategies. That's going to be hosted by Justin Spittler. That's on a Saturday morning. And then we have Savvy IRA Planning for Boomers, hosted by Charles Curry on the 29th. That's also on a Saturday morning. And then Social Security planning. So talking about the Social Security topic, that one's going to be in September 26th, also a Saturday morning here in our office. If you're interested in any of those workshops, they do fill up relatively fast. You can go to our website, financialgroup.com. Financialgroup.com, you can sign up. There's no cost. Leave your checkbook at home. And we really just do that to provide general information to the public. And like I said, when we kick the show off, maybe you get familiar with us, we get familiar with you, and then you decide that you want to work with us in the future. But there is no obligation. There's no cost to attend any of our workshops. You can sign up online and get more information at financialgroup.com. And so the question that Grant kicked off before the break was, go ahead, tee it back up for us.
We were looking at someone who's just turned 62 and is contemplating taking Social Security, and if that is one of the biggest decisions, or that is one of the biggest decisions as you enter your retirement years, one of which that you cannot take back. You can within certain 6-month parameters. Short term, but long term, it's a big decision to make that can make a huge impact on your lifetime earnings from Social Security. And it all comes down to, it depends on your personal situation, of course. But if you have good health and are able to delay, especially until full retirement age, whether that be age 65 or 66, a couple months, all the way up to 67 it is nowadays. And even later, if you're able to delay each year, you get about an 8% earnings increase on your Social Security as you delay up to the maximum age 70. It comes down to, are you able to live off of whatever assets you've accumulated in your working years to actually delay Social Security, let that grow, and maybe draw from tax deferred accounts like your 401k or IRA in that time frame when you don't have income, and possibly pay far less in taxes in the grand scheme of things. Because it doesn't come down to, how do I avoid taxes? We don't look to avoid taxes, but we ask the question, when is the right time to pay taxes? And that gap between when you retire and when you take Social Security and when you start RMDs at age 73, 75 for those under 65 currently. That range there is some of the prime retirement planning years and a time where we see the biggest impact in our clients' lives. So that's a great time to reach out. If you find yourself asking yourself those questions, when should I take Social Security? What can I be doing in these early retirement years to really maximize what I have and what I can ultimately leave a legacy of? Then please reach out, of course.
The one big thing about Social Security as well is that it's starting at 60, especially if you want to start at 62, there's a lot of questions that we ultimately ask, right? Are you still working, or do you plan to go back to work? Because there are earnings limitations if you start prior to full retirement age. The other question, as Grant mentioned, is do you need the Social Security? Do you have other assets that you can be living off of? Is your spouse still working, right? Okay, how's your health? That's the other one, obviously, that we're always looking at. And does your spouse have their own benefit? So there are a lot of different questions as far as Social Security coordination goes, and those are the things that we work through when we're doing retirement planning with clients, and the things that Charles Curry is going to discuss in his Social Security planning and basic rules and claiming strategies seminar. So Social Security is a hot topic nowadays, especially with our people that are nearing retirement. But we've had a lot of clients who have properly done it and are very grateful for the benefits that they're currently getting from the Social Security system. All right, Grant, what else we got?
All right, our next case, looking at somebody age 71 who is both giving, $10,000 a year out of their pocket to their maybe their church or a charity that they like, and have a large IRA that they're not withdrawing from yet. Do you see any opportunity there?
Yeah, so this goes to the topic of what we call qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs. It's funny, this has really taken off as a planning concept really in the last like 3 or 4 years, and I don't know why it has to, but I feel like it's always been available. Maybe it was done with the Secure Act in 2020. But anyway, qualified charitable distributions, Grant, allow you to give money to charity. How does that process work?
So if you have an IRA and you're over age 70 and a half, you actually have to be over the exact day that you would pass that numeric number.
Which is super wonky, but whatever.
But it helps withdraw from a tax-deferred account. This is money that you've really never paid taxes on. And if you were to take money out for yourself, you're going to pay ordinary income on that money. But you're able to write a check out of your IRA directly to a qualifying 501c3 charity, whether that be a church or a charity that you like to support. And that money does not get taxed to you. It goes straight to the charity, and therefore you're able to give more to a charity that you're interested in, and withdraw from an IRA that if you don't currently need the money, that's the big disclaimer, if you don't currently need it, then you can withdraw from it and maybe save yourself on RMD taxes later on.
Yeah, one of the reasons it became so popular is a lot of people don't itemize anymore. So in the old days, you would keep track of all your receipts in charitable gifts. You would then do your itemized deductions, with your interest on your mortgage and other things, that medical expenses, whatever, and you'd itemize your deductions and get credit for your charitable contributions. With the fact that the standard deduction has gotten so high nowadays that people have to give away a lot of money or have a lot of medical expenses in order to, itemize. And so most people nowadays claim the standard deduction, which means that I don't want to say they don't get credit for giving money to the charities, because, they ultimately get some sort of credit, but they're not getting a tax benefit for doing that, which is why the qualified charitable distribution allows them to give money away out of their IRA, which would otherwise be a taxable distribution, and get a full removal of the taxation of that distribution. So basically, it's like you're getting full credit for that charitable distribution by giving it through the qualified charitable distribution. Now, I would say also, you mentioned that it's a tax-deferred account, but I don't think they do it out of 401ks. I think it's IRAs only, right?
IRAs only, correct.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. All right. What else we got?
All right. Just before our next break, I want to touch on something we see often. Say someone comes to us and they say, hey, I have a trust. Okay, great. And they said they went to their attorney. The attorney drafted up a trust. They fully executed it. They went home. They put it in their very safe drawer, told no one about it, and did nothing with it there and on. You won't believe it, but this is what we see. And if you've done this, then you should know your trust isn't worth anything unless you actually fund it. Actually put your trust as in the name of your brokerage account or your bank account, put your home, of course. You actually need to fund the trust, and a good estate planning attorney should tell you that, but you won't believe how many times we see it not happen. There are some accounts that you may not want to leave to a trust, like your IRAs, because the rules become very complicated, more than we could probably cover in the time that we have. So if that's you, please absolutely reach out and give us a call.
Yeah, trusts attorneys like trusts. Clients like to say they have a trust. But we see a lot of them that show up that are either not funded at all. So we when we're opening accounts for clients, we find out they have a trust. We're like, well, what's in your trust? And they're like, nothing. And we're like, okay, well, you have a document that says you have a trust, but if it's unfunded, it really doesn't do much for you. And the reason people open trusts is because it's a way to bypass probate, because everything is owned by the trust, and so, or the things that you put in the trust are owned by the trust. So ultimately, when you pass away, those assets don't go through the probate process, because the trust then takes control, and then the trustee and the beneficiaries are paid out. And another thing for the trust too is that if you own multiple properties in different states, there's also some some advantages to having a trust, to bypass probate across multiple states. So if your situation is really complex, trusts do make sense sometimes, but a lot of clients have trusts, don't know what they are, don't know why they have them, and ultimately don't really put things in them. So that's a conversation that we have, and ultimately we have them go back to their attorney to decide, how to properly fund these things and make sure that everything's set up properly. So trusts are one things that we do run into a lot, and just making sure the client understands what they have, and then sending them out to the proper legal professional if they ultimately want to make changes or do anything differently.
Yeah, that was the big one I felt like we absolutely needed to touch on when we talk about generational wealth, because everyone feels, well, that's the way you really provide for the future generations is by having a trust and outlining how your beneficiaries can actually take advantage of the money or get access to the money after your passing. I believe it was Warren Buffett, one of the most wealthy men in our country, who said that they have a trust, but it's set up in such a way that it's the brains of 3 live and capable people will do much better with this money than that of someone who has passed away. So Warren Buffett actually has proper trustees on his trust.
That's super important.
Super important, making sure that the trust is taken care of after you're passed away as well.
All right. Here's some music. I know we'll have a little bit more time when we come back from the break, but take it away, Josh.
Thank you so much, Aaron and Grant. If you want to call in, open lines available for you at 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO. Charles Curry also taking your calls off the air right now, live in the offices of Certified Financial Group at 407-869-9800. That's 407-869-9800. 9800. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow,
today,
with the Certified Financial Group.
Hey, Lou, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to, the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal? Oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak. Just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit. It's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that, if she thinks I should be doing something differently, even if it's not good for her, she's going to give me an opinion that's for my interest. So what's the difference between a fiduciary and the brokers? Well, these are dietitians, these are butchers. It's that simple. Brokers are butchers selling product. Fiduciaries are dietitians looking after your health. The problem is most people think that their butcher is a dietitian. So when one of your moms or dads or friends calls the broker and says, you know, I got 200 grand, I sold a little piece of property, or I got some inheritance, what should I do with it? They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40. CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent.
But we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. We got Aaron Bert and Grant Kennedy, two certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group. If you want to join in, we got open lines available for you the next 3.5 minutes or so. But really, if you want the real answers that only the Certified Financial Group can provide, and it's after 10 a.m. Charles Curry standing by answering your calls right now at 407-869-9800. 407-869-9800. Back to you, Grant and Aaron.
Yeah, so I wanted to go back to the topic that we were just discussing before the break regarding trusts. And one thing that we see a lot of, and this is that we were discussing things or mistakes that people make that we see when they come in and they're getting near retirement. One of them is, they come in with a trust and they don't have it funded. They never did anything with it. Or a lot of times we also see the fact that they have named their IRA as the beneficiary of the trust, which is fine. You can do that. I will say that it does cause some complexity for the IRA owners or the beneficiaries who ultimately get it, because a trustee has to get involved in order to make sure that those distributions are properly done. But more importantly, IRA rules changed after 2020. In the old days, you used to be able to do what was called a stretch IRA, which meant that the beneficiaries could take the distributions out of the IRA over their life expectancies. And that changed with the Secure Act in 2020. And anyone who's passed away from 2020 on and has left an IRA to somebody is now under the new Secure Act rules. And the Secure Act rules state that the account needs to be emptied for most beneficiaries within a 10-year period, which means that you have 10 years in which to empty that account out. The only reason I bring this up is that if you name a trust as a beneficiary of your IRA and the trust conflicts with the Secure Act 2.0 or Secure Act and then a Secure Act 2.0, that there's conflicting instructions and the trust may actually hinder withdrawals from the IRA and make it even more difficult, and there may be some conflict there. So if your trust is before 2020 and is named as the beneficiary of your IRA, I strongly recommend people get that reviewed, make sure that it still jives with their intentions and with the current law, and also that it meets their needs currently. Or just to simply change the beneficiary on your IRA to be the individuals who are the beneficiaries of the trust if you're not concerned about them inheriting money right out the gate. So we do see that issue a lot. It is something that we deal with our clients day in and day out here at the Certified Financial Group. And when we meet with clients and discuss their personal situation, those are the kind of things that we review and talk about. And it's just so clients understand the implications of what they did and the decisions that they've made and how to manage it going forward, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to be gone, and it's going to be their beneficiaries and their trustees who have to sort through, what to do going forward. So again, that's what we do here day in and day out at the Certified Financial Group. We like to say Monday through Friday. We do this for a fee. On Saturday morning, we do it absolutely free. But if you want to come in and have a complimentary consultation with Grant, myself, or any of the other 15 certified financial planners in our office, call our office 407-869-9800 during the week, or you can go to our website, financialgroup.com, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, blessed Saturday.
Thank you so much, Aaron Bert and Grant Kennedy. You've just listened to On the Money, where we're planning today with the Certified Financial Group.